What's going on, everybody? We are out here today blocking on Andrew's car. So I told you guys I was going to help you out, give you some tips and some tricks as I could. I did cover a lot of the stuff that you guys had asked about in the previous live stream, but today is just a chance for us to hang out. And if you've got any questions about block sanding, guide coat, primer, now is the time to go ahead and ask it, and we'll try to show you how we do it. Not saying that our way is the best way, but we'll try to show you how we do it. So we'll wait on a few people to get in here. So this car, we primed it last night, and now we are block sanding, wet sanding with, what are we using, 400? Yeah. So we're using 400 on this, and eventually we'll come back with 500 over the top of the car again. We'll just scuff it up. Kaboom's in the house. All right. So, like I said, if there's anything that you guys want to see, we'll go ahead and show it to you tonight, or today. What's going on, Outfoxed? Last 5-0, what's up? So let's take a second and show them right here. That's a good example. So as you can see, Andrew is blocking the side of the car right here, the top edge. And you see we use red as our guide coat. So anywhere that there's red is going to be essentially a low spot, or either somewhere that's not been touched yet. That's a good example of a low spot. And this is why it's very important that if you're priming your car, you really need to block sand it out, because you would never see that. That would look pretty straight, but he's going to go ahead and show you how he addresses that, and hopefully that'll come out. I'm sure it will.
I hope so.
Yeah. And if not, this is a good time to get you some poly glaze, some lightweight filler, and fill that in if that is the case. But this should block out no problem, guys. So here he goes. We're just looking for the red to disappear. Yep, and there it is.
Yeah, I'm blocking it right now.
Yep. And there it is.
You can kind of feel when it gets even again, it won't drag as bad.
Yeah.
Like that last.
So that's it.
Yeah, it's flat.
And then on the edges, we'll just come in and we'll handle all these edges later. And right up through here. Now, we'll warn you guys, this area is extremely hard to get flat. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really not meant to be flat. You could flatten it, but you're gonna end up with a lot of filler around here. So as long as there's no dents, there's gonna be some deformation in this area, because this is all stamped, right, punched into this metal, and it's going to cause high and low spots, but our eyes are just trained to see that as normal anyway. So as long as there's nothing crazy going on, what Andrew will do now is just block this area as much as he can as one, but you're gonna get high spots here. You can see yeah, you can already see it right here. Or it can be addressed differently. You can take this area and just block it individually, right here. Let me get over here where you can see all the red. You can block this separately and then come back and block this and this, rather than trying to do the whole thing. All right, so let's read some comments. Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, so Tommy T says, hey Rue, are you just going to prime, paint, or seal the base coat? Okay, so that's a good topic. On a car like this, where we're doing an overall paint job, I do not like to use sealer. And I'm going to tell you why. We get a mirror finish out of this primer right here. Okay, and you guys see how little primer is actually on this car? See, it's not all built up. We're not just coating this car down with primer, scuffing it, and painting it. Primer will dry up on you. It will pinch up or wrinkle up as time goes on if you're not careful. So you want to have as little primer on the car as possible, in my opinion. So on an overall paint job like this, no, we'll just shoot this car with primer, and what we'll do is come back in with some self-etching anywhere, like right here, anywhere that we have bare metal, and we'll lightly touch it with some self-etching, and that's it. The car will be painted over the top of this. Now, this car may get a second coat of primer, and we may redo this again. We'll just have to see how it all works out. But no, typically I'm just going to go with primer and paint over the top of that. Guys, you have got to have your car perfect before you put sealer on it. Sealer is literally right before your base coat, and it's got to be perfect. And if you don't spray your sealer correctly, let's say your sealer doesn't lay out like perfect like a base coat, there's no way to sand that. Well, there is a way, but you don't really need to be sanding on sealer, so that's why. The old Fox, great learning process. Thanks, Brew. I don't know jack about painting or body work. Well, you know, I didn't either, and I still don't really. All I can tell you guys is what works, okay? I'm not on here telling, trying to tell you guys that the way somebody else does it is wrong. There's a million different ways to do this. We got Handling Motorsports in the house. What's going on, man? Yeah, Sunday fun day. I might regret saying this, but I can't wait to get... So, Kaboom, let me say this, man. Body work is somewhat therapeutic. Andrew's not feeling the best day. He's got allergy problems. He took some medicine earlier, and he's about to pass. He's about to fall asleep. But what you can do when it comes to body work is zone out, guys. You can throw in some headphones, some good music, and just sit out here. You can see we've just got 2 tents up, and you just get after it. And just look at the way this is working out, guys. Just check it out. I mean, it's so worth it.
Out really good around the door.
Yeah, it did.
Got a little bit of a low spot right there, but we're high right here, and I don't know over here, so I wanted to stop hitting it. I don't want to dig into it too bad.
Yeah, that looks good. So remember, guys, you're seeing water on here, so you're going to see all types of water lines and things. That's not what we're looking at. The actual body of the car, though, is very straight, I'll say. But yeah, body work can be fun. It really can. I'm going to tell you what's not fun. What's not fun is bumpers and trying to figure out when to stop and when to move to paint. I had a couple of guys ask about grits, and they say, I have no clue about grits. That's kind of a complicated thing, because I don't want to give you guys a specific grit combo that we use and then it not work for you. There's a million different ways to do it. But I'll say this, typically we sand the car with either 80 or 180 with a DA first, and then we do all of our body work, and we finish it out in like 180 in the spots that we hit with 80. So anything we hit with 80, we come back with 180. And then 180 is where we leave it to put primer. That way this primer bites down real heavy. That's also why it's important to come in and block sand over this primer, because it's 180 under this primer. So there's a chance that the primer doesn't cover the 180 scratches, so you have to kind of get those out. So every inch of this car will have to be touched with 400. Now, since this car is going to be black and it's going to be like a metallic pearl, we're probably going to finish it out in 500. This is 400. Probably go to 500. Got to rebuild my motor first. Flackaboom is excited. I'm dreading body work on his car. Oh, so you guys are friends? Hey, man, but that's cool, though. You want to have some friends involved, because this is a lot of work, and you're going to need somebody to check over you, right? You never want to do this, especially if you're kind of uncomfortable with it. You never want to do it by yourself and then not know. Like, damn, was this right? Is this good? So let's get back to this. So what Andrew's doing now is he's coming back in like we had talked about before. And see the spots that he didn't want to get to start with? He's coming back and getting those. And look at that. Look what is... See, guys, that's why we do this. That's why we block. There's a low spot right there. And if you don't think that'll show up, you are wrong. If you don't get that out, it'll definitely show up. Okay? But what he's doing now is he's coming in, he's getting all the spots that he couldn't get before. Now, we're not going to go any higher up here on this, because that's all going to be covered up. So we'll stop there. We will sand it by hand, but we're not going to get too involved in that. So really, that's about it, right? A little bit up here.
I was just getting the edge where the guide coat was on the body line right there, so then I was coming back and just pushing it, feathering it in. Then I seen that low spot, and I was trying to get it out. It's gonna be tricky, but it's coming.
Something that I want to remind y'all of is when you see stuff like this, well, over here is a better example. When you see stuff like this, you might think, man, I need to go back and reprime the whole car again. No, you don't. It's actually pretty normal, or at least for me now, I don't like to do this. Or you could seal the car. You could put a sealer over it. But for me, I'm perfectly fine with this. Now, I will say this, and there is an argument for sealing a car whenever you have issues like this. And the reason is, if your base coat is too hot and you got a really aggressive reducer, you can wrinkle up these edges, these fine edges. It can happen. But I have found the trick to that is a very light coat of base first over all of these areas like this. I'll put a dust coating over that, that, and over there, and let it dry down good, and then I'll come back and I'll start my actual base coat. So, but don't freak out if you see that. But some of you are only going to use sealers, and I understand that. I've never had any luck with them, so I try my best not to. All right, so is there any questions that we can... He's my dad? Oh, okay. Well, good deal. You guys have a blast with that. You know, to have friends and family over while you're doing something like this is a huge help. So just enjoy the process. What works better, supercharger or turbo? I just made a video on that, and there is no better answer, best answer, to be honest with you. And that's not just a cop-out. I can't tell you. Some days I feel like driving the turbo car, and some days I feel like driving the supercharged car. I don't know. Let's see. Back to Cobra or GT or Cobra clone. Will you go through the process of fitting the body kit? Oh, yeah. Also, always wanted to use Tamco paint. I've never used that. High build stuff, would you consider? And what does everyone else think? So I don't know about that paint or primer, maybe, I guess is what you're saying, since it's high build. I'm not sure about it. But of course, I mean, we fit the panels. This Cobra bumper back here from Cervini's was not in the best shape, guys, at all. It was horrible. And we're still not done. We're still not done. See, here's the thing. All this down here, we had to put a light coat of polyglaze on down here. And then just sand and sand and sand. But check this out. This is the type stuff, if my camera will focus, that we still have to deal with. All of this has to be touched and has to be sanded. Look at that. For whatever reason, my camera is not focusing today. But yes, absolutely. Take the time to fit your panels. You have to. I don't care how many times you got to take them on and off. You do what you have to do to get those panels, because bad panel fitment will absolutely ruin an awesome paint job. So Hanlon says, don't let me fool you. I secretly love Coyote, NA Coyote cars. Yeah, I'm you know, hey, I like them. I like my push rod. Yeah, I just like my push rod stuff better. That's all. What's the best way to close the gap between the top of the fender and the windshield? Is that adjustment mainly coming from the bottom of the fender bolt, and is so enlarging the hole is the best approach? Yes, a lot of times enlarging this hole. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Andrew just brought up a good point. So this hole down here, yes, the best option for you if you're struggling is to enlarge the hole. Let me see if I can get down here and show you guys. Enlarge that hole right here a little bit, and you can always go to a bigger washer to adjust. We actually had to adjust his. Also, the other thing is, like Andrew stated, if your pinch weld has been up right here, then it's going to push your fender either in or out. So just take like a brass rod or just a hammer and knock the shit out of this and try to straighten up your pinch weld, because that's what that bolts to. So yes, that is going to cause all kinds of adjustment issues. What that'll do is that if that pinch weld is out of sorts, it'll cause your fender to bow out in the center right here, or either be in. Typically it bows it out, and it's from people putting jacks on these pinch welds. Also up here, you can pull the fender back. Oh, sorry. You can pull the fender back, and the best thing to do is loosen everything up at one time and then get after it. Also, remember there's a bolt back here too. I usually just leave mine out because it just causes more problems than it's worth most of the time. But anyway, yeah, enlarge that hole and you should be good. The details do take the time. Flat panels usually go quickly. You are absolutely correct. These panels will go pretty quick. And it'll look so nice, and then you get around to like the bumper back there where we were at, and you see all those issues. It's like shit, but it's got to be done. Now I will say this, on bumpers you can get away with a lot of issues that you normally couldn't. Now this bumper is going to need some more work, and we didn't realize it until last minute here. and don't worry about stuff like that. That is what it is. Right here, all of this has to be sanded back down. So we didn't notice that until last night whenever we were getting ready to prime the car. So something like that, I don't recommend you stopping for, okay? You just take note of it and you go ahead and you prime your car if it's time sensitive. So now what we can do is just come in with some sandpaper, get in here and really clean this line up and knock off all those little chipped out areas. And we'll go around the whole car and do that same process. And then all you got to do is shoot a nice little coat of primer right here. You can use spray can primer at that point if you wanted to, because there's nothing here to rust. And you'd be good to go on that. So look at that. That's looking good. And this car was riddled with dents down the door.
Especially on this door.
Yeah, this door was bad. And look at that. And guys, I promise you, if Andrew can do this, anybody can do it.
You're not wrong.
Anybody. Let's see. What's up? I just rode by your area. I was wondering, because working on that car again. Yeah, so Bama's right down the road from us. Bama, you're welcome to stop by if you want to. I mean, we're out here working on the car. You can swing by. What color? What clear? Okay, good question. So the color is going to be tuxedo black, and it's going to be in a metal lux, which is, I love metal lux. Did we get metal lux?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got metal lux or either chroma base. So either one of those two you can't go wrong with. And the clear coat that we're going to be using, a lot of you have never heard of it, but I'll go ahead and show it to you. I love this clear coat. Love it. See, I'll give you an example. Like this metal lux reducer is very hot. It's a very hot reducer, and it will burn through base coat. Like, trust me. Ooh, it's pretty tough. Okay, right here. This is the clear coat that we'll be using. Love, love, love this stuff. If you guys have ever used it, you know, chime in right now. If you've never heard of it, maybe give it a try. It's only like $220 for a gallon kit, and it gives you roughly about 1.5 gallons of sprayable material. Very high solids. You can thin it up to 10%, I think it is. Maybe wrong on that. Let's see. Yep, 5 to 10% right there. So it's a 2-to-1 mix. Anyway, that's what we're using here. And we do use the cups from Harbor Freight, the Spectrum cups. We do use those. Those are great, by the way. I recommend those. And just to show you the gun, we will be probably using the Iwata Kiwami, which is my favorite. It's only like $185. And just so you guys know, I'm picking that over this, which is a GTI Pro Light. And you guys know that these are extremely nice guns. But I have to admit, I think I like the Iwata Kiwami the best. I like that gun. I just do. Nothing wrong with either one. Just like the way it feels in hand a little better, and it seems to spray better. All right, so we're going for about 18 minutes. We'll probably be on here for another couple minutes. If you guys have got any questions, go ahead and address them. So chroma base is good. Auto Extreme, how good is it though? UV resistant. All I can tell you is, if you're asking about the stuff that I got, the auto coat stuff, so far so good. I absolutely love it. It's on the gray car, and I put it on the black truck too. Didn't I put it on my Lightning?
I don't remember.
No, I put 465 on it. Nason 465 is really good too. But I love it so far. It's highly recommended from the body shop that I use, or the paint store that I use. All the high-end shops use that. Guys, it's $220 for a gallon kit. I mean, and it's high solids, and it is clear. I'll tell you this. Okay, all right. Here's what I can tell you about the 6101 that we're using right now, the auto coat. I left about that much clear in the bottom of my cup, and it sat for what, probably 5 months.
Yeah.
Okay, and I didn't realize it, in one of those little disposable cups. I picked it up out of there, and it was crystal clear, and it didn't shrink any. It shrank maybe a millimeter or two, of course, but didn't shrink any, and it was not brittle, and it was just as clear as a piece of glass. So you tell me. I have never had any clear do that, ever. So I think it's awesome. It looks good. And there again, I don't know if you guys can even get it where you're at. But I'm sure you can probably find it online. But give it a shot, man. You'll love it. Yeah, same paint scheme. We are going to change the bottom color up, but that'll be a little bit of a surprise for you guys. You probably won't notice much of a difference, but we did make a change on the bottom color. Yeah, Nason flows good, man. I used to use 498. All these cars have 498 on them right here. But I will tell you that I'm not pleased with how it lasts. Yeah, this car actually had 498, and we had all sorts of issues with it cracking. It usually takes about 2 to 3 years before you start to see an issue with them, but it will start to arise. So 498, I wouldn't recommend it. 465 though looks to be a way better option than Nason. Yeah, try it out, man. You guys try out that 6101 auto coat. It's really good. Is there a giveaway today? And did you guys prime that tire? Yeah, so last night, that was our mistake. Yeah, it's getting new tires on it anyway. But I told Andrew, I was like, man, the one thing that I regret doing was not covering these tires up, but I didn't think about it at the time. So we jumped out here. I had already mixed up the primer. I had it in my cup, and I go to spray in the car, and I'm like, oh, shit. And you can't just throw paper over it. You know, you really need some bags or something. And I don't have any tire covers. So it was kind of last minute. Man, you do not want primer to kick off in your gun. So I was like, screw it, we'll do our best. So anyway, yeah. But lacquer thinner will get that off. We actually got some on the back tires, but lacquer thinner got that off as well. So I was a little upset about that. Where are you painting it at? Papa T's? Yeah, we're going to paint the car over at Papa T's next weekend, actually. Let's see. What size wheel studs would I need with an 1/8" spacer? Probably 3". It's a 3" wheel stud to be good. I mean, that way you can put any spacer you want to on the car. No alcohol. No alcohol involved in that last night. It was just one of those last minute deals where it was getting late, and we were scared the dew was going to start setting in, and we wanted to get this car in primer so that this morning we could get up and start sanding. So yeah, and Andrew's like, screw it, I'm putting new tires on it anyway. So we just went for it. Is Andrew going to be at FTO? Yes. What's up, everyone? I'm changing out my power steering pump today. The Fox Life in the house. I don't know if we're going to do a giveaway today. Probably not today, guys. Let's see what else. I just can't wrap my head around why people put jacks on pinch welds. Yeah, I know. It happens. You know, I guess people just starting out don't know any better, and it looks like a really good spot to jack the car up. And it's horrible for GT cars with ground effects, because there's something in the beginning of this video when we start pulling Andrew's car apart. There's something in there where I touch on that. And there's no point in me getting into it right now. But I will say that your pinch weld, if it's bent up, it's going to push your ground effects out. So it'll jack them up. But I'll have all that covered in the other video. Let's see what we got. Can you put links to that gun that you like? I will try to. Let me come in here and show you guys how it's spelled. So for anybody that wants to, I highly recommend this gun. Period, point blank. I don't care who you are. For the money, this is the gun. And guys, I'm telling you, coming from like a $500 GTI Pro light right here, I'm telling you, this is the one. Andrew's actually going to buy one of these. So it's an Iwata, as you can see here. Kiwami 4. Just go to Amazon and type in Kiwami 4. Now that adapter, I had to search for that adapter if you want to use the Spectrum kit or like the 3M kit. That's where you have the disposable cups. You don't have to have that if you're not going to use that. Anyway, like I said, highly recommend that. I couldn't recommend anything else for the money. And no, none of that was involved last night. Nate was supposed to take that home with him, but he didn't. But I am thinking about cracking a beer open here in just a second. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get over here. I need to help Andrew. I say I need to. Hell, he's doing a fine job. Let's wet it down and look at it one more time.
The bottom of this door sucks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the primer dry, really textured, so it's just like...
Yeah. And that's another thing, guys. Make sure that you're using a good gun, or either you have a good spray pattern on your gun and it's not dry spraying with you, because you will make a lot of work for yourself.
I like how the door turned out. I'm happy with that.
Door turned out money. That looks great. I'm sure we could probably work on an area or two here or there. There might be something. Yeah. Andrew, hold on a second.
Right here?
Yeah, somewhere right in there. Did you see that before? Where's it at? It's right there. Possibly. Maybe just block it out a little more right there and we'll see. But it's very slight though. But see, guys, this is... Yeah. But see, guys, this is what you have the chance to do when you start block sanding, wet sanding out like this, is you really... I mean, look at that though. That's a freaking mirror. But at certain angles, you can find imperfections. Look at the white pole or white thing right there on camera. Now watch. See the deformation right there on the bottom? So we'll hit that again a little bit more and we should be good to go. All right, am I getting any white hats? Do you guys want any white hats? We can do some white hats as a limited run. They are expensive when we do it that way. I think we did like 50 bucks for a white hat, but we did limited. We do only like 10 of them or something like that. Maybe 5 is all we did. It's been like 4 years since we've done it. We might do like a different color or something. The limited edition stuff just helps bring money in for the channel. I mean, it just is what it is. But we could do some of those for sure. I mean, you're already going to be spending 20 bucks or so for, $25 for a hat anyway. Look at this though. Andrew's got some smoked queso going on in there.
Courtesy of Ray.
Yeah, Ray and Finger. Shout out to Ray for that one. All right, let me turn this around. You guys don't want to look at my face today. Let's go over here and look at this side of the car. So this is what it looks like with the guide coat on it before we started sanding. So we'll knock all of this out today. We'll get this done. If I can never get back to helping him. All right, real quick we'll go back through the comments. Let's see. Getting the back windows to the Fox body looks better with taped off, blends in. Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. Have a good Sunday, OG. What body filler are you using? We're just using Bondo brand. Actually, no, we're not. I'm using Evercoat for most spots. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is what I use here. Again, Auto Coat brand. I use this for any light dent. Like this is good up to 1/8 of an inch. So you can use this in 1/8 of an inch thick before you start to have problems. So most of the time this is going to be perfect. This is just a lightweight filler. There are tons of different brands out there. I just like this because it comes in a little pouch. And you can see it's very loose. It's very, very soft. You can mix this with regular filler and kind of lighten up the consistency on this, or either thicken up the consistency on that. And also for any holes or anything like that, we use fiber fill, which basically is just a fiber reinforced filler. All right, guys. I hope y'all have a great Sunday. Stay tuned. There's probably going to be a lot of information coming out in this next video. A lot of it we've already kind of talked about today, but hopefully we can go into a little more detail. So stay tuned. Andrew's car should be painted next week. So you guys should see that video in about a week and a half or so. And we'll see how this thing looks. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up. And as always, thanks for watching.